So, welcome once again to the geez, what month is this? End year?
July
July
2017.
2017 Patreon meeting. As always, completely professional right here. Much has changed over the last month. Let's start with just kind of a basic overview. The YouTube channel is at 250,000 views. Did not
That's
hit
great, right?
1,000 subscribers like I was hoping, but maybe by the end of the month. Hard to say. Views have been incredibly consistent. It's like a straight flat line, which is kind of weird because views on Twitch have been completely different. Sid Alpha has been getting much more popular based on several death threats toward him and his nonstop coverage of what's basically one of the most thrilling legal cases of the 21st century.
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic about his growth or
No,
not.
I mean he's getting like 50 to 60,000 views per video in 24 hours.
I I know. I can't tell if you're making fun of him. Let me put it that way.
I don't like the thing that he specifically is going after. The person that I think they need to let it die because she keeps getting more and more famous,
Mm.
and she's a terrible person because she
Yeah.
threatened to kill a bunch
I,
of people and is DMCAing a bunch of YouTubers. So giant, huge trout slap in the face. With Sid posting videos before he goes live, saying, "Hey, I'm going live," viewership is picked up. Most shows that have Sid in them get close to or exceed 100 viewers at the start, and by the time introductions are done, they drop back down to 80. By the time that the first half is done, it's down to 50, and the end of the show is down to 30. Which, of course, for shows like Okeanos, 30 from 5 is quite a big deal, and for shows like Winter's Edge, 30 from 10 to 15, also quite a big deal.
mm-hmm.
A lot of people are dropping by, some are staying. I have no idea the implication for long term growth, but the channel is slowly growing. And definitely viewership is spiking. However, it's not consistent, so I don't expect it to stay because it's not consistent, and that's the definition of consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Obviously, all the issues with the play-by-posts have happened. I feel like I've beaten that with a stick long enough. It has literally been less than 1 week, but I don't think I need to rehash it. If for some reason you're watching this and you don't know what happened, just ask me privately. Or watch the last episode of Winter's Edge, which would be episode 8, where I explain it at the very beginning of the show. That was bad and has impacted the channel pretty intensely. According to my notes here, oh sorry, I got to put on my glasses. According to my notes here, I seem to recall telling all of you that when the play-by-post ended, it would cost me about $100 in Patreon subscriptions, which is essentially exactly what happened. It ended up costing about $80 as people have begun withdrawing their donations, or I've begun refunding people that I've banned. In the last couple of days, more people have signed on that come from the Sid Alpha camp, but it's not gonna make the difference up. So it's a pretty serious blow to my business. On the other hand, I also lost about 100 people on the Discord server.
You lost
Between
100 people from Discord?
Yes, between people that didn't want to deal with the drama, people that were banned, and cleaning up all the accounts that hadn't logged in for over 30 days, 100 people have left. On the other hand, the play-by-post I expect will be thoroughly more manageable now. It definitely is going at a much slower pace. I think we can literally see that. Yeah, I see Soundwave is just like, yeah, it is. I mean, we maybe do 20 or 30 lines of text a day instead of me sitting at a computer for 2 hours typing out everything that happens. And I like the pace we're going at. I don't need to sit down for 15 minutes and look for obscure rules and go through my own wiki and have a giant table of encounter. I have a pretty good idea of how to run Star Wars, having done it for quite a while. And so I can just be like, oh, this happens. That's what your role means. Done. And, it's fast. It's very fast. The thing that concerns me the greatest about the new Star Wars play-by-post is that no one's talking in the, general Cantina chat. Interacting with each other, it just doesn't happen. And that's extremely grave for me, because that means that people aren't getting to know each other's characters. I don't know how to get people to do that. In Tavern, we had the same issue for Winter's Edge 1, where I just waited until I think EQ showed up and said stuff. And then over the next couple days, a couple more people said stuff. But with it being much more limited access and not public, and people are still making characters, and there's only 9 people playing right now, even then we're still not seeing literally any chatter. So that's a concern, but who knows?
So I'm actually, I got the Zoom on one monitor and Discord on the other.
Yep.
What are the channels that the Spire?
Anything marked in the front with SWRP.
No, the Canteen is the first one, but the 2 or 3 next channels,
Yes, they're the mission channels.
Those are the missions. Okay.
Each ship has its own preferred mission type.
Okay.
So the ship that's good at smuggling cargo goes on cargo smuggling missions, and the ship that's used for fast interception and bounty hunting does that. I thought it was an interesting way to make quest rooms specific to people's skill sets, while also tying them to a physical object that they don't own, they rent.
Mm-hmm.
To encourage people to buy their own ships at some point when they can afford it. And probably TIE fighters. Just lots of TIE fighters with no shields or ejection seats. Yeah. So, I very much would like to get the Battletech show underway. Doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon. I'm having an incredible amount of trouble finding broadcaster entertainers that know of Battletech and want to play Battletech at the kind of level I want it to be at. So that it's on hold. It's the new Mistborn. Replacing it was going to be Silent Legions, but now it's looking like it's leaning more towards Sons of Gold. A lot of people have expressed interest in either playing in or watching Sons of Gold, which is the Stars Without Numbers Merchant Prince one-shot that I ran with Kelsa, Sid, and Salfang. I was concerned for a very long time that people wouldn't enjoy it, and people enjoyed it a lot. Mm-hmm. At least one person sent me a breakdown of what the players did wrong and how they could have made better monies by going to this place and doing this thing or gambling on this particular role. I think that person did not anticipate the horrible rolls that they made and then ended with great rolls for money. But, that's just the thing that happens. I expect that Sons of Gold is probably going to take the flagship spot of Winter's Edge, which means it might not launch for a while. On the other hand, Okeanos could wrap up 4 to 5 episodes, and if it does, Sons of Gold will probably take that spot. I also want to start a third show, whether or not the Patreon gets there or not to that level of support. I'm not sure what it'll be yet, but I feel like I can probably stretch my broadcasting skills to another RPG show without too negatively impacting myself now that I'm not running the play-by-post every second of my life. The other shows that I have on the back burner are another Burning Wheel show, maybe. What's more important for me is that for On the Tabletop, the show about making art, the next episode will be a Burning Wheel Noble Court game with multiple players. So it won't just be me and one person. And I'm interested to see how a game about players resolving beliefs about a limited resource, right? There will be a noble who has a limited amount of time and money and favors, and people need to petition that person and probably perform against each other in order to win whatever they need. You know, if they're a clergyman, maybe they want to get a specific thing changed in the church. Maybe they want the church to be able to have a holy day on the 17th, etc., etc., that kind of thing. You know, a knight might want to be given a greater grant of land. I'm curious how that'll go down. After that is the next big show I want to streamline in post Sons of Gold. This will almost certainly be a Saturday night show. A Game of Thrones game where everyone plays a different house, and the houses engage in house warfare using their assets on a meta level, moving them around the board, and whenever two factions' assets collide, we zoom in and do a scene about, you know, if there's an army, who's leading it. If it's, you know, a maester, well, I want to know about that maester and why is he in Duxburg. It's probably not to swim in that vault full of money, probably to acquire all that money. So let's see that maester acquire that money down in Duxburg. And there is some small, I mean, we're going to have to see how it happens. The Magical Girls game, but there is some small hype from the players that maybe if it goes well, they'd like to play again.
What game was that?
Magical Girls. It's this Tuesday. It's called Sparks of Light. The cast is much stranger than I anticipated. I had thought they would be okay playing Sailor Moons. Instead, they're playing a cat that transforms into a girl who's extremely tsundere. Someone's playing Breen of Tarth with a mohawk. And I don't even know what Cotton's playing, but now Cotton has become a total badass in the Star Wars RP. And so I'm worried that she might also continue to be a badass. Alright, let's see here. I realize, my bad guys, I popped open the chat on Zoom, but then I covered it with something else, so I didn't see that people were saying things. Alright, let me get my glasses, because these lights are so bright. Can't see shit today. Alright, let's see here. Oh man. Alright. Oh, you offered to help one night. I haven't had time to go to the book and build. I mean, if you need help, you could just ask in the Star Wars RP test room. People will probably help you out. And I'd offer to help tonight, but I think I'm streaming. Quest rooms are working good. Countdown till we destroy the ship. I mean, if you destroy a ship, you're probably all dead, right? Like, you're probably on the ship. Could you fill the Patreon play game with something? I'm behind. Maybe you are. Could make it a pattern member one-shot series week. Look for pattern people who want to play. Oh, Patreon. Okay, let me go back and read that. Could make it Patreon members one-shot series. I don't know. I hadn't thought of that at all. And honestly, the Patreon games were kind of a mess. They varied very heavily in content. And in who liked them and for what reason. I'm more inclined to do off-stream Patreon games. Maybe they'll be recorded, but maybe not. So far, board game recordings haven't been popular at all, but I want to keep playing board games, right? Dead of Winter, Fury of Dracula. I consider...
You got Fury of Dracula for Tabletop Simulator?
Yes. Pandemic. I want to play games like these. I also consider Civ 6 to be a board game, but we'll see if I get back into that. Right now, people are saying they might want to try diplomacy. We can try that. Yep, Dead of Winter. We just tried it.
Ooh,
It
is
was
that an
pretty good.
expansion, Soundwave?
Uh,
Nice.
so yeah, I mean, I would rather have Patreon nights. I don't know, like Sunday or Wednesday, unstreamed for sure. Because people don't like watching board games live, and I don't understand it, but that's fine. Maybe they'll be recorded, but probably not. It'll just be a chance for us to sit down and play together, like the cool people that we are. That's what I would replace it with, Riga.
So, what night would the third show likely?
Tuesday.
No promise. Tuesday.
I mean, the specific reason for that is because Sid is available on Tuesdays, and whatever show it'll probably have Sid because I'm a shameless whore, and Sid is currently the hot commodity right now on the internets. He will play literally anything, which I already knew, and he's available to do so. And it's a really good idea to take your quarterback to the touchdown when you finals on the 3rd-yard line.
That was amazingly terrible.
We're gonna have to get you to watch some football in fall. That's ridiculous.
I'm sorry, Jazz. I actually used to play a lot of whatever the NFL affiliate for the Xbox was, Madden. I played a shit ton of Madden 2012, 2K12 or whatever. That was intentionally bad.
Okay.
I will admit, when I play the basketball games, though, I always try to alley-oop for no apparent reason. And as you might expect, even the AI predicts when you do nothing but alley-oop. Eventually, they're just like, yeah, you're about to alley-oop. for no reason. Put that ball up there, son. Yeah. Alright, so I've done a lot of talking. In fact, one could say I've done about 17 minutes straight of talking. Let's talk about questions from you. Let's talk about you. How are you guys doing? How do you see the channel doing? What do you want to see? Any questions, comments, or concerns? All right, that was a very quiet.
I was waiting to give someone else a chance to speak since I've been asking a lot of questions. But if nobody's going to,
go ahead, Jim. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
I am really excited by the Sons of Gold being the next show. I watched it on YouTube just Friday, something like that. And at one point, I know you commented, this feels like Spreadsheets, the role-playing game, and we're concerned that was a bad thing. And for me, that was like my favorite part about it, was like the spreadsheets upon spreadsheets upon spreadsheets.
High five.
That being said, and I'm thinking this is likely because it was a one-shot playtest, it did feel like each transaction was quite fast. The pacing felt very fast, almost too fast. Like they tried to do too many deals in the course of one play session. I assume that was just because it was a one-shot.
Well, I mean, I was specifically attempting to test the deal system, because that's the thing that I don't know will work. We were extremely fast-paced, and I think I've been doing that a lot. I've been picking up the pace. Action Movie World was very fast. And I feel like last night's Winner's Edge, I kind of let people lollygag around the party time. But during the duels and then after the partying, it was also very fast-paced again. I don't know if everyone sees it that way, but that's how I saw it.
I was away this weekend, so I haven't watched it yet.
Don't worry. It'll be there for you.
I know. It's in my watch later on YouTube.
You had a lot of fun with the Battletech tests. Here's my problem with Battletech right now. They seem to be covering themselves in gasoline and setting themselves on fire. I don't know.
The company? The publisher?
Yeah. Just to do a quick catch up, CGL Catalyst Game Labs, which also produces Shadowrun, for those in the know, bought the Battletech copyright or whatever, the publishing rights. But when they did, they found out that the person who had been doing their finances, one of their initial employees, a writer for the BattleTech series named Lauren Coleman, who did both the rule books and the fictional books, had embezzled $850,000 from the company.
Oh my god.
That was like years ago. They haven't paid it back, and they've also fired most of their staff. They're down to about 6 people. And they keep hiring freelancers to do work writing books for them and then don't pay them. For the last 6 months, their forums have been going down on a regular basis because their IT guy is also the guy who ships their product. And their product has not been getting shipped. There are people that have orders that are 8 to 10 months old, and they get the wrong product and charge back their credit card and get a huge amount of complaints. So BattleTech is currently consuming itself. If you go on the BattleTech forums or the BattleTech Reddit, they're all in a complete mess right now. Also, someone is breathing into their mic. I can't tell who, but it's absolutely going off in OBS. So, I mean, I really want to run a BattleTech game, and I want to find a way to speed up Total Warfare. The dice rolling is slow. You know, you gotta say, I'm shooting these weapons, and you roll dice. You say, this hits or doesn't hit. Each dice roll takes like 30 to 40 seconds to do. And then you gotta say, alright, I hit at this location, I hit this hard, this happens. Alright, that happens, a critical happens. The damage overflows from the arm to the center torso. A lot can happen, and every single thing slows it down. My thought was to use Roll20 to speed it up, and I have had trouble writing the macros for it. Roll20 doesn't do, like, programming. You can't do if-then statements like you would with another type of macro. So
Have you considered using the old MechWarrior game? I think it was like a 2nd edition from FASA.
Yes,
because it was narrative combat
it's
instead
the
of map.
exact same.
Yeah.
Yep, it's the same system. And I mean, I have a lot of plans. I've got a lot that I want to see done with MechWarrior, but speeding up the combat and then finding the people who are interested in playing it and buying into the universe are a big deal, because this is a universe where machine guns only fire a few hundred feet and missiles only fly a mile, right? And we live in a world right now where machine guns fire 4 miles and missiles travel across the world. So it takes some very serious buy-in to be in BattleTech. I mean, yeah, there are some generic mech systems that I could do, but I really want to play authentic BattleTech because, you know, I grew up playing MechWarrior 2 Mercenaries and MechWarrior 2, and then MechWarrior 3 and the expansions, and Mech Commander 1 and 2. Like, MechWarrior is a very large part of my gaming. Building OP-ass PPC boats, then running around in circles and firing off tiny balls at people, hiding behind a mountain until my machine stops exploding, is a large part of my middle and high school training in video games. So, you know, there's a lot to overcome to get the BattleTech show on the screen. And I expect we won't see it anytime soon. And there's a pretty good chance that in the next couple of months, the BattleTech company is going to set itself on fire and eventually just commit bankruptcy because they're massively in debt. They embezzled a shit ton of money. They literally forgave the person who did it. They were like, you don't have to pay us back. And he was like, cool, thanks, person I've known for 20 years and are best friends with. And I assure you their stockholders were not pleased by that decision. And it's been affecting everything CGL does, from putting out new BattleTech books to putting out new Shadowrun books. They're in a horrible, dragging, downward spiral of death. Alright, I don't know what question precipitated that, but I feel like we're very far away from it.
What made you flip into a Patreon Wars game so quickly. I was a little surprised that you want to do another play-by-post already.
Yes, but it's much. You missed the early part of the discussion, JS. It's much slower. I think we can already see that the amount of involvement by me needed for it is much, much slower. You know, I don't need to sit down for hours and decide what's happening. I don't need, you know, a wiki that I've wrote and 15 pages of monster bestiary and 4 maps to play Dwarf Fortress and in the dungeon, right? I to just be like, cool, you encounter a shuttle, it's full of stormtroopers. I know that stormtroopers have these stats, so I don't even need, you know, a PDF. I could just run this from my phone. Stormtroopers shoot at you. You shoot back. You get some advantage. I happen to know what that advantage does. Great, we're done. Like, we just ran a whole combat in like 30 minutes. So
Okay, that makes sense.
Slower effort, and it's slow. I had concerns about that slowness. Just to reiterate it, it's that no one's talking in the cantina. This world's version of the tavern is unpopulated, and I don't know how to encourage people to go there and do things. And it worries
We'll
me
get
that
there.
when people want to go do another round of missions, I don't want it to just be the same people going on the same missions all the time.
Yeah.
I know Team
gotcha.
Justice wants to stick together, and that's cool that that's their thing, but I like people meeting new people. That's a community thing. And
Yeah, I mean, we had planned to like separate, because just like when we did Team Justice, it was never all of us together. We always broke apart and incorporated new people into it. And that's again something I had planned to do as well. AP, I just haven't had time. I've just been so busy. I haven't had time to come in and roleplay anywhere. Actually,
like everybody's busy.
I'm not busy.
I mean, so that's the thing now, right? Like, the Star Wars RP, it used to be my play-by-post was ahead of everybody else by fact that I was one of the first people doing it, and it was a very solid community, and it was entrenched. Like, people would wake up in the morning, they'd RP, and then say hello to everybody wherever their morning was, and that meant we'd get, 18 to 20 hours a day of someone in there. Even if it was just Hale talking about fucking bread. There would be something. And now, communities
I was
like...
just thinking about Hale and bread today, actually.
Jesus Christ. World. Now, communities like Pitbull's are more entrenched than mine, right? Just like literally, they've been doing it for a couple of weeks. Cotton's is... I mean, don't me. It's true. They've been doing what they're doing longer than my community has, because we're literally rehammering it out with many fewer members. And some measure of trust has been lost.
I would say that's an accurate
Oh my
statement,
gosh,
and I'm not picking on you or being critical. Like, but it literally did.
you become a robot,
Yeah,
JS.
you completely broke down.
You are Optimus Prime now.
Because it was from.
You're gonna have to start over whatever you were saying.
Oh, all right. Well, you know what? I'm in my car and on a back road, so let me just turn this off. I'll just talk later.
All right, that sounds good. I'll be here if you need anything.
My question about it was more directly to you. Like, what are you wanting to see for the channel? What sort of growth are you looking for?
1 second, I gotta get Tyson here. There was a problem with getting him his invite. Okay, what channel growth would I like to see? Great question. Well, I don't want to be entirely reliant on Sid Alpha to get viewership. So, if I could get a second Sid Alphian to show up, that would be great. If I could get my own level of viewership, that would be great too. Sawfang was telling me that people that can regularly pull in about 100 people several times a week can normally get full Twitch partnership, which would be a big deal for me. I've been avoiding conventions so far. I don't like traveling. I'm a big guy. I don't like meeting new people for the most part because they make me uncomfortable. But from what I've seen of all the Twitch partner events, they tend to be way more private. You know, there's not thousands of people around. There might be dozens of people around. And they're all people committed to doing stuff like me. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Partnership is the current goal, right? I have
Gotcha.
affiliation. Subscriptions are coming in on Twitch. There's less than I'd like, but more than I expected, which is pretty much my entire life at this point. And it's almost enough to make up for the massive loss of Patreon support. Yeah, I'm really trying to avoid talking about Ribbon and Spats because it'll just get me mad.
Understood.
And I've already done it Saturday night. Another thing I'd like to see out of the channel is the return of stuff like Civ 6. I got really frustrated at the end of the Riven Spats debacle. Left the game because I was just like, ugh, I really don't want to do this right now. And I know that Team Riven Spats and Jay had their own group, right, of Civ 6ers. They had like a large free-for-all going. And I want to get back to a point where like stuff like Diplomacy and Civ 6 and board games are played on a regular basis between everybody, like not having to pillar around me. It shouldn't rely on me to be like, hey guys, let's do this thing. People should be like, hey, there's 5 of us that are interested, let's play this game. That's what I'd like to see. That's where I would like the community at again.
Gotcha.
I don't feel like we're there right now. I feel like we suffered some stepbacks.
There it is. I mean, I've talked to a lot of people, and they've said already like how they're missing Tavern, and just it's a lot of change that happened within a short period of time, and we are a community of
Really short time.
Yeah, we are a community that doesn't react well to change. We have a lot of people that I'm trying to put it really nicely. We're a collection of individuals that sometimes have a large amount of insecurities. So when things change rapidly, it takes them a long while to adjust.
That was the most diplomatic way of saying we're a bunch of nerds, EQ.
You're
We're a
welcome.
bunch of nerds who are hypersensitive.
Yes.
That's
So
amazing.
I think unfortunately it's going to take a while for people to kind of find their group. And a lot of people are unfamiliar with Star. I've had a lot of people come to me and they're like, an example, Cotton came to me just in our mission alone, and she's like, I'm so lost. I have no clue what's going on. Like, what is this? What is that? What is that? She's like, I should have watched the Star Wars movies. And I'm like, Cotton, you got to understand, I'm faking it as well. I have no clue what these are. You just have to like make shit up and roll with it.
I
Like,
mean,
Fake it till you make it.
fake it to.
if you guys want to stop and ask for help, it's perfectly fine.
No,
I could-
she was like asking like what, like she was like, what's a Corellian security? Like, who
Right.
are they? And I was like,
Oh, wow, JS. I think you're-
JS, mute your shit, JS.
I mean, I think it actually happened. It was clear to me you guys were having trouble understanding what happened when I was describing the mission. And so I was like, all right, outside of RP, out of character, this is what you as people would understand,
Yeah.
right?
It just, to her, she felt like she was missing a whole bunch of lore, and like me and JS were clicking really easily about it all because we're able to adjust and flow with it. And she was just like, I'm so lost, I don't know. And I'm like, no, you gotta understand, like this isn't like a big lore thing or something you're supposed to know about already. It's just people being dropped into a new world and being super unfamiliar with
all
it.
I can say is if you don't understand what's happening, just ask.
Yeah.
Right? No one's going to be like, you don't know what Corellian security is. Didn't you know that at least 4 books Han Solo evaded them? And one of them wasn't even in the Millennium Falcon. That's not a thing that's going to happen.
Okay.
There are several books I consider essential to understanding Star Wars. Basically just iJedi and the X-Wing series. But, not everyone has the time or the inclination to read that. Not everyone cares a bunch about Star Wars. Some people are just here to RP. And if you need help understanding what's going on, just ask.
Right.
I don't have the time to write a massive wiki.
Totally.
Again. So, I'm here to help.
Just things that I've noticed that I'm trying to get us to talk about, and how you may just be hoping for one thing and it hasn't exactly happened yet.
Okay, well, any other questions, concerns, stuff to talk about?
Non show streams. You doing Final Fantasy 14 still? What's it,
Yeah, I
on
haven't
nights?
played it in a really long time. Tonight, I'd like to get back into playing it because I got the game and I keep paying for game time. But it's been a pretty big turnoff for me. The expansion didn't add that much, and there's a lot of story, but not a lot of like dungeons. It's a huge time investment, and I'm still doing the same stuff over and over again, and I'm really disappointed with it.
I phrased my question poorly. I guess
Okay.
what is taking up? What are you going to what are you thinking about putting in those non Thursday, Saturday stream slots?
I mean, Overwatch and Final Fantasy.
Okay.
Probably more GM prep. People have shown an inclination to show up when I actually do those things.
They're fun when we get a chance. The cool part is we get to, add into helping building the world. I think we really just all enjoy building something. We all are creative individuals and like to put our tech in a place here and there.
Tell you about this guy named Numa Chunga Wunga Solo. Probably should have put the chat on screen, but I didn't. Oh well. You're missing a lot. You're missing a lot, people who aren't watching it live.
All the talks on the side.
Yeah, all the
yeah,
side talks.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything I really wanted to ask or talk about. How are you doing, AP? Are you doing okay now? Are you?
No, not really.
No.
I'm recovering from last weekend. The fact that the temperature is up like 20 degrees here every single day.
Yeah.
Well, at least you can say it's kind of exciting, right? Yeah, we're gonna be hopefully optimistic here. No, we gotta stay pessimistic.
I think you could say we need to stay real.
I see what you did there.
I mean, I like staying on brand. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try to do more board games. Is what I want to come away from here. I'll probably use the @patrons command and @Twitch subscribers on the Discord to drum up people on short notice. There'll probably be more nights where there aren't scheduled streams, and I do that instead. Rather than play Final Fantasy, I'll play 2 games of Dead of Winter or something along those lines.
That was fun.
Nice.
And we won, so that made it even more fun. So.
Was there no trader? Is that what happened?
We didn't have
No.
a trader.
There was no trader. It was really surprising. And then only me and AP got our side objective done.
True. Only we were good enough.
Yep, only we were the true winners.
It's either a trader or people being really greedy with their side objectives that just tank the whole game usually.
I had Felicia days like right off the start, and I was just like,
Nice.
I'm good. I can do anything. I'm fine.
The game designer's promo card is also awesome. Kodiak Colby.
I didn't see it in there.
Oh, maybe he's if we have Felicia Day and Will Wheaton. I'm surprised you don't have that promo card.
I didn't see Will Wheaton in there either. Just
Yeah.
Oh.
We didn't draw him.
yeah, she was OP as shit though.
Yeah, she was. 2/2 activate any event.
We got really lucky
Yeah.
at not getting bitten. Like for the amount of times we fought people, we definitely should have statistically have been bitten a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone ever ended up bitten except that one guy who died.
Yeah.
Bye, Felicia.
Well, she's Cotton sacrificed to Santa to give us morale.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Drunk Mall Santa does, right?
Yes.
Yep.
I am really excited when you name dropped Fury of Dracula because I have that sitting about 15 feet that way through a wall, and still in the shrink wrap, and it's been sitting on my coffee table
Yeah.
forever, and I have not gotten to play it.
I've been going back and watching a lot of Tabletop with Will Wheaton, and Fury of Dracula was one of those I thought was really interesting. I like the fact that you don't play a game master, but you do play like an antagonist, and that appeals to me a lot. And they made a story out of it, which isn't that hard when you're playing Fury of Dracula. Seems amazing.
An awesome
Yes,
game.
Betrayal at House on the Hill is another one that I want to try. Like these,
An awesome game.
So I mean, I'm testing these games out to figure out whether I want to buy them, like Dead of Winter. And yeah. I mean,
if you haven't played Elder Sign, it's a pretty good one too.
We'll see. We'll see. I definitely want to do Pandemic. Like, I've owned Pandemic forever. It was a really good tabletop, and I want to get around to trying it. That's what I got. That's what I got. Board games. Civ 6 again, maybe. Maybe I'll get back on the drug with some diplomacy.
Is Witcher 3 ever coming back?
I don't know. Here's the thing. I like the storyline for Heart of Stone, but I just feel like once I beat Witcher 3, I was so exhausted at doing the same thing over and over again.
Huge.
I mean, I probably should have done less of the side stuff. Because now every single combat for me is like tap, tap, dodge, tap, tap, dodge. Yeah. I mean, there's no skill to it anymore. I'm just so ridiculously fucking powerful.
You completion mode it, so you're at the point where nothing's a challenge to
Well,
you.
I mean, it's more than just that, right? Like, not only is it not a challenge, but there's the mechanics are always the same, right? It's always just tap, tap, dodge. There's no reason to, like, sidestep. You can just dodge roll out and then dodge roll back in. It'll take twice as long as sidestepping, but will leave you with absolutely zero chance of getting swiped. The style of combat that I have developed is very efficient and also very boring. Basically, you know, I've never beat Skyrim. I've played Skyrim 3 times now. Every single time I get to the part where someone takes me into the basement of an inn and is like, "We're secret dragon hunters," and I'm like, all right, now I'm fucking bored. I'm gonna go do this thing where all of the demon gods talk to me and ask me to do stuff, and then I'm like, well, now I'm bored doing that too. I've done both expansions. I've done some werewolf stuff with the companions, but I just never got past going into the basement to talk to creepsters. People are throwing up a game called Splendor. I'm assuming Soundwave and Kelsa are probably just like rotating games in front of their camera real quick. And...
I mean, I could do the same thing.
All right, chill your shit out.
I have too far of a walk for mine.
Star Wars Rebellion. Well, a game I'd like to see on Tabletop Simulator that's probably not going to get there is Mistborn House War, because that's going to be shipping soon. But I'm never going to play it with anyone if it's not on Tabletop Simulator. I'm probably not even going to open it. I'm just going to leave it in the box and stare at it until I can get my cousins to go away for a weekend so we can play.
Nice.
I think I have it pre-ordered.
On Kickstarter?
I
Probably.
think so.
I'm excited to see it. It looks like it's going to be interesting. But again, I'm not going to open it. I'm going to leave it in the box. I mean, I still have Star Wars Monopoly, the PC edition, in the box. Speaking of video game streams, Thousand Arms continues to be one of the most watched episode 1s I've ever had. I think it might just be, and it's a terrible first fucking episode. The sound is horrible. I'm just like, hey guys, it's me, Arthur Perkins. I'm playing Thousand Arms. It's a game that's 20 years old. But I want to go back and play a game on SNES that I have sitting around, but I don't have my SNES anymore, called Metal Marines. It's dank as shit, man. It's the Japanese attempt to make a Gundam game for the SNES. It's like SimCity if SimCity was built out of missile towers and Gundams.
Korewa Gundam?
Everybody lives on islands, and you like build missile launchers and defense missile launchers on your islands and generate energy, and you can use the energy to fire rockets at the enemy. And when you do, it does a cinematic where the missiles fly over there. you don't know what the enemy island looks at, so you don't know what their defensive structure looks like until you send missiles over. So there's a very complex strategy of like sending a missile over to scout, determining where everything is, coming up with strategy to like massively overpower the defense in that location, find the enemy base, and then laying your Gundams there to destroy everything. And I remember as a kid that my strategy was to build a shit ton of defensive missile launchers, extend the game out as long as possible, and just keep landing metal marines everywhere to go out and do stuff. And the metal marines were pretty cool. Like, they walked around with machine guns and laser whips, and you other metal marines that were in the area you landed in would fight each other. I had a lot of fun back then, but I never actually beat the game, so I want to go back and give it a try. So maybe that'll happen. You remember that game. Recon missiles were a costly required strategy. Yes, indeed. Wait. You basically had to just, like, get all 4 missile launchers at the beginning of every mission and just divide up the enemy front line and send 1 missile to each area, expecting it to get shot down, hoping to see where the enemy locations were so that you could then super barrage them with a next set of missiles. Oh, that game was good. Man, there were a lot of really good games for the SNES that are probably terrible. Like Utopia. I remember the shit out of that game. It was great when I was a kid. But I also thought Harry Potter was good. And Final Fantasy VII. Alright. Yes, Cat, come here. Come here. People on the internet want to see you.
Cat cam!
Come here.
Very
I'm
loud
alright.
cat.
Amore. Alright, listen. I've been trying to train her to come over and tap my shoulder. But...
I'm gonna jet, guys.
Alright, later. Yes, Amore. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? And now everybody's animals are attacking. All right.
I'm guessing there. I was wondering if there was gonna be any more Patreon Patreon mission things.
Nope. No.
No.
All right. Well, Jim's got an emergency. They just gotta go, Jim. Want to sit down? I think we're past the days of Patreon missions for that particular system for 5e. It's just the Riven Oh, ow! Really? You're gonna hit me with your butt? The Riven Spats contributions that would intentionally make the world worse for everyone around them have really put me off giving the audience the ability to fuck with the players. Like, even people who weren't setting out intentionally to mess with the players' lives could sometimes accidentally do it.
What would you think about doing it for the Star Wars Patreon?
I'm currently comfortable where the Star Wars is at. Very reasonably paced, check in every once in a while.
How long are you planning on running the Star Wars play-by-post for?
I didn't even plan to have it working until today, so the fact it's been up for a couple of days means I'm way ahead of schedule. I have a lot to figure out with it. I have no plans for an end date.
Understood.
I mean, Star Wars is picking up in popularity again. Everybody talks about Episode 8.
Yeah, the play-by-post is already turning out pretty cool.
All right. I'm glad you enjoyed that.
Well,
all right. I feel like it's time to just wrap things up then. Got started almost maybe on time, and the ending almost maybe on time.
That's
I know.
almost maybe impressive.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to play some diplomacy, I guess I'll put out some interest in it. Just know that diplomacy will probably piss everyone off, and everyone will betray everyone as quickly as possible. That's what we got. Also, apparently people are freaking out over the new Doctor Who being a lady. Really don't understand it.
Really?
Yeah, I don't get it.
I was afraid that was going to happen, but
I mean,
why?
don't get it.
Why? Why does that matter? Yeah.
I'll see you guys next month. Hopefully, we'll have a new show by then. We'll see.
All right.
Or we could report back next month that the channel's shutting down and everything's on fire and the Star Wars is canceled.
Oh God.
Who knows? Who knows? It's been a busy week. It's a very busy week. Have a good day, guys.